These are the qualifications of a disciple by a fellow named Walter Heinrichsen. Wrote this book many years ago called Disciples Are Made, Not Born. Today is number 6. A disciple does not have an independent spirit. There's a great deal of talk today about doing your own thing. And this was written before Facebook and all that stuff existed. So basically, in today's society, you can say anything you want to, do anything you want to. And there's so many people doing that. Used to be the one universal law was till somebody makes you stop. Well, in this day and age, there's not enough government people, police, and this, that, and the other to make everybody stop. There's too much going on. So, this anti-authoritarian society in which we live, the attitude is, don't let people tell you what to do. And I agree with that to a point. But only if God is telling you and you're listening and understanding. Accomplishing the work of God is a team effort. However, is a team effort. It is done in concert with like-minded brothers and sisters in the faith. There is no room in the life of the disciple for a loner's attitude, or the kind of attitude that says, if it's not done my way, then I'm not going to do it at all. A young man once told Mr. Heinrichsen, I will listen to what God has to say to me, but I will not learn from other people. To have such an attitude is to live in self-deception. People are often God's instruments to communicate to other people, and that is very true. God is looking for faithful people who are willing to subjugate their own ideas for the sake of the team. Now, I'm not exactly sure what subjugate means, but I know sub means lower, down, under. Another word, put your ideas or my ideas below someone else's ideas long enough to at least listen to it. And now here's where we get in trouble. Okay? We can go, yes, I'm fiercely independent. Ken Jenkins by himself without God is the most independent. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. Nobody's going to run over me. Nobody's this and nobody's that person you'd ever want to meet. But when Ken Jenkins gets up and spends time with the Lord and prays and listens and puts his agenda on the back burner to God's agenda, things go well. When Ken Jenkins is making disciples, Jesus is with him, and things go really well. And I'm not saying there's not trouble. We're guaranteed trouble. We're guaranteed that anyone who has a demonic spirit in or around them is going to do everything in their power to attack us. And it's going to go and go and go and go. We see that what they're trying to do is get you mad. And, people with an independent spirit, if you got an independent spirit in you, generally you take your ball and go home quite often. And in case you're wondering, an independent spirit is not a good spirit. A dependent spirit on God first, where you're hearing from the Holy Spirit and your like-minded brothers are hearing pretty much the same message. We all hear a little bit differently. There'll be some things different. And you're working in concert, directed by the Holy Spirit instead of a preacher with an agenda. That's what the scriptures are talking about. The direction came from God through the Holy Spirit to the church at Antioch, or to the church in Acts, I'm sorry. The church in Acts was directed by the Holy Spirit from God through the elders and then to the people. Now, does that mean that if your preacher has an agenda that is not in keeping with the strategy of Jesus Christ, in other words, he's not 99.9% focused on making disciples instead of getting up in a pulpit and standing and talking and expecting that, and a revival once or twice a year, expecting that to grow the church and spread the gospel to the ends of the earth? If he's doing all that, does that mean you can't hear anything from God through him? No, it doesn't. And there's a message. God, if a man is willing to get up and study and prepare and share the things of God, then there will be a message there. And if you show up, and the Lord shows you to show up in a church service and listen to that, there will be a message for you in that. That is why you don't ever let God speak to you through prayer, through preaching, through any other means. Okay? If your dog starts telling you, if God decides to use your dog to tell you something, have a method of recording it. Make an audio recording. Use your telephone. Take notes. And you should take notes every time you hear a sermon, if for no other reason, then you're 10 times more likely to remember it and be able to teach it and share it with somebody else if they have need than if you don't. And I'm going to tell you something. There's not a greater feeling than reaching out to a pastor halfway around the world with an idea to go on Facebook and start sharing the gospel bilingually in English and in Urdu, the language of the Pakistani people, and he says, God has been showing me the same thing, brother. So when you get up and you pray and you listen to God, okay, and you then, when God gives you a download or God gives you a message, you take it to the scriptures and you verify it and you study it and you turn it around every way you can turn it around, and God imparts exactly what he means as you meditate on his word and study on the words he gives you, on the written word, on the preached word, on the spoken word, on the word you might hear in a commercial on television that's not even about the gospel. Then it won't be possible to have an independent spirit. Remember, it begins with total dependence on God governing your life and ordering your step. Yes, you will make plans. Yes, you will have a to-do list. God will change that to-do list just about every day. But the thing about it is, when you go with the change God makes, you'll get your list done and God's list, because He'll make a way for you to do it, or He'll bring other people around that will help you. God bless you. I love you.